The woman at my door was holding a baby with my husband's eyes. I stared at those familiar brown eyes, the same ones that had looked at me across the breakfast table that morning when Mark kissed me goodbye. The same ones I'd fallen in love with 8 years ago. But now they were staring back at me from a 6-month-old's face. "Are you Sarah?" she asked. Her voice was shaking. "Mark's wife?" I nodded, unable to speak. The baby had Mark's dimpled chin too. And that little cowlick in his dark hair. "I'm Jessica. I work with Mark at the firm." She shifted the baby to her other hip. "I think we need to talk." My world tilted sideways. Mark had mentioned Jessica before. The new paralegal. Young, ambitious, always staying late to help with cases. I'd even felt sorry for her, working such long hours. What an idiot I was. "This is Connor," she whispered. "He's Mark's son." The words hit me like a physical blow. I gripped the doorframe to keep from falling. 6 months old. I did the math instantly. Mark and I had been trying for a baby for 3 years. 3 years of negative pregnancy tests, doctor visits, hope and heartbreak on repeat. While I was tracking ovulation and taking fertility supplements, he was making babies with someone else. "I'm sorry," Jessica continued. "I know this is awful, but I can't do this alone anymore. Mark promised he'd leave you and we'd be together. But last week he told me he's not ready. That he needs more time." Her laugh was bitter. "It's been 6 months of more time." I invited her in because I couldn't process this conversation on my front porch where the neighbors might see. We sat in my living room, the one Mark and I had decorated together last Christmas, full of hope for starting our own family. Connor gurgled and reached for a throw pillow. So innocent. So unaware that his existence was destroying everything I thought I knew about my life. "When did it start?" I asked. "Last year. During the Morrison case. All those late nights working together." She looked around my house, our house, with something like guilt. "He told me you two were having problems. That you were growing apart." "Problems? Growing apart?" "We'd been to couples counseling twice in the past year, yes, but only because the fertility struggle was stressing us both. I thought we were stronger than ever. Apparently, I was the only one who thought that. He said he loved me," Jessica continued. "That he'd never felt this way before. When I got pregnant, he was so excited. Said it was a sign we were meant to be together." Each word was a knife twist. While I was crying over another negative test, Mark was celebrating a pregnancy with another woman. That night, I confronted him. He walked through the door whistling, carrying takeout from my favorite Thai place. Probably guilt food. "How's Connor?" I asked. He froze. The bag of food slipped from his hand and hit the floor. "Sarah, I can explain." "Can you? Can you explain how you've been playing father to another woman's baby while I've been falling apart thinking something was wrong with me? While I've been blaming myself for our infertility?" He tried the usual cheater playbook. It meant nothing. It was a mistake. He loved me. Jessica was unstable and manipulative. All lies, and we both knew it. But the final straw was when he said, "You have to understand, Sarah. She got pregnant so easily." It made me think maybe the problem with us having kids isn't just medical. The problem with us. As if I was broken. As if I was the reason we couldn't have children, when really it was because he was having them with someone else. I asked him to leave. He packed a bag, claiming he'd stay at his brother's while we figured things out. I knew he was going straight to Jessica. That's when the rage set in. Not the hot, explosive kind. The cold, calculating kind that plans and waits and strikes when it hurts most. I hired a private investigator. Turns out Jessica wasn't the only one. There had been others over the years. A client from 2 years ago. An intern before that. Mark wasn't just a cheater, he was a serial cheater who'd been playing me for years. The PI got photos, text messages, financial records showing Mark had been supporting Jessica throughout her pregnancy. Money from our joint savings account that I thought was going toward our fertility treatments. Then I remembered something. Mark was up for partner at his firm. The decision was happening next month. His whole career depended on maintaining his reputation as a stable, trustworthy family man. I called Jessica and asked to meet. She was hesitant until I explained my plan. "You want revenge too," I told her. "He lied to both of us." The partners at Mark's firm included several prominent women who took professional ethics very seriously. They also valued family values and integrity above everything else. On the day of partner evaluations, Jessica and I walked into that conference room together. Me, the loyal wife who'd been betrayed. Her, the young mother abandoned with a baby. And Connor, the living proof of Mark's lies. I presented everything. The affair timeline. The financial records showing Mark used marital assets to support his mistress. The other affairs the PI had uncovered. Character references from colleagues who'd watched Mark lie to clients and staff for months. But the real kicker was Jessica's testimony about how Mark had promised to leave his wife, then abandoned her and their son when partnership was on the line. How he'd chosen his career over his responsibilities. The partners didn't just reject Mark for partner. They asked him to resign. Mark lost everything. His job, his reputation, his future at the firm. And because I documented everything, the divorce was quick and brutal. I got the house, half his retirement, and alimony. He got visitation rights with Connor and child support payments that would follow him for the next 18 years. Jessica found a job at a different firm. One of the partners gave her a glowing recommendation after witnessing her courage in speaking up. She and Connor are doing well. As for me? I'm finally free. Free from a man who looked me in the eyes every morning and lied. Free from blaming myself for fertility issues while he was literally having children behind my back. Free from a marriage that was built on deception. The fertility specialist I'm working with now thinks my stress levels were probably affecting my ability to conceive. Chronic stress from living with a liar and cheater can wreak havoc on your reproductive system. Who knew? Sometimes the trash takes itself out. Sometimes you have to drag it to the curb yourself. Mark thought he could have it all, the wife, the mistresses, the baby, and the career. Instead, he lost everything because he underestimated the women he betrayed. We weren't victims. We were witnesses. And we made sure his lies caught up with him when it mattered most. Have you experienced something like this? Tell me in the comments.